What is going on, peeps? I promise, if you're tired of seeing me, it's okay. It's the last video of the morning. But I definitely wanted to go ahead and cover this as well before I get started with the rest of my day. So, thank you all so much for tuning in to this live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. And as always, I am your humble host, Niko House. And there has been a lot of censorship going on. Now, the initial attention on censorship over the last couple of weeks came because Alex Jones' channel was taken down in what most of us in the independent world would call an arbitrary move based off of establishment pressure. Now, why do we call it arbitrary? And I don't want people to think that I like Alex Jones, because I don't. I don't like him as a person. I think he is a literal psychopath. I don't think that he is mentally stable. I don't think he's fit to be a parent or a husband. I don't like the guy. I don't like his fear mongering. He does have some dog whistle, prejudiced rhetoric. However, because Alex Jones is a member of the press, because Alex Jones was a regular member of the social media communities, there are certain guidelines that we're required to follow, all of us. And I get that, right? We have community standards. As a managing partner of a social media platform, I understand that more than most people. Just Inform, by the way, if you have not registered for Just Inform, I encourage you to do so. You can find the link in the description below. But there seems to be a problem because the community standards talk about fake news, right? They talk about lying. They, in one form or another, express a disdain for any type of harassment or xenophobic commentary. And yet, Alex Jones is arbitrarily punished. When I say arbitrarily punished, I mean because the community standards have literally never mattered until 2 weeks ago. For Facebook, for Twitter, for YouTube. They didn't matter until 2 weeks ago. That's my problem with what's going on with the Alex Jones censorship. Alex Jones has put out lies. I consider Alex Jones actually controlled opposition. But New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, Washington Post, the Daily Beast, Snopes, I can go on and on. PolitiFact, Verity. I mean, they didn't last very long. There's a plethora of publications who have straight up lied to our faces, had to retract dozens of articles, caused relationships to be severed, caused professional careers to be ended, caused professional relationships to be severed. Even Jimmy Dore, while we were at the People Summit, was actually giving an interview to it was actually Jamarl Thomas at the time, was giving an interview to Jamarl explaining how the Russia conflict, if you will, caused a rift in relationships that he's had for over a decade with TYT. So, this was no small issue to lie about. This was like life or death to some people. The Russiagate scare. So, to say that Alex Jones violated community standards, but not actually putting out an official memorandum or an official letter saying this is exactly how he violated those standards, then you set yourself up, or we set ourselves up, for failure. Because what that means is that they can then go after somebody like, I don't know, Teleslur, who's on the left. Because Teleslur was taken down less than a week after that. Now, granted, it did not get as many views, and it didn't get talked about as much because they don't have an Alex Jones-esque face that created it. It was created out of Venezuela to combat the propaganda coming out of the West, specifically the United States. There is a name that is very popular that is associated with Teleslur. in a show that most of you all know called The Empire Files, hosted by Abby Martin, who is, as we know, one of the most prominent anti-imperialist, anti-establishment truth tellers in the world, not just the country, but the world. She's on the left. She was taken down. Shortly after that, Caitlin Johnstone was suspended before Twitter went into an uproar because of her critiques, her very candid critiques of John McCain. So, myself, Jimmy Dore, Kyle Kalinske, Mike Figueredo, most of us got it right. Tim Black, even H.A. Goodman got it right. I mean, from the right and the left, we knew what was coming next. We knew what that was. It was a heat check. It was a litmus test. It was to see how much they could get away with without generating a massive uproar by the people, so that when 2019 and 2020 comes, they can just censor who they want to. Now, I want to play for you all a little bit of this clip from Jimmy Dore and Stephen O going at it, because it is indicative of my issues with those who pretend to be altruistic, pretend to be progressive, pretend to be for the good of the people. And yet, whenever the time comes for them to uphold their values, to maintain that integrity, and to maintain an objective lens, especially as a media conglomerate as big as TYT is, they always fold under pressure. They always capitulate to the popular narrative or the establishment narrative, not even necessarily the popular one. So take a listen.
Hi everybody, welcome to this week's show. Let me give it to you, Steve. Do you have anything to say?
Well, I mean, look, I don't know why we have to keep going back to Alex Jones as a reason why he should not be censored.
Well, look, there has to be a process in place that is transparent. That is not what's happening. Right now it's happening in secret with warmongering motherfuckers like Henry Kissinger telling
I agree with you on all of that part, okay? I mean...
So yes, you can take someone down. You have to have an adversarial judicial process.
I don't know what that means. Like in a courtroom?
Yes, but you're advocating for billionaire guys in Silicon Valley to decide this all on their own, and you...
Really quick, I want you all to, he said an adversarial judicial process. He's like, I don't understand. You mean like in a courtroom? Guys, Stephen O is an attorney. He didn't understand what an adversarial judicial process meant. But okay, let's continue.
A fucking media company?
Yes.
And that's what you're advocating?
Yes, I am.
Really?
Yes, I'm advocating that platforms can take down certain creators.
I can't wait till TYT is taken down for being against the war. You're saying that you're one Mark Zuckerberg? What the fuck, Zuckerberg?
Why didn't he finish that?
Okay, I'll let...
Ooh. You heard that right. But if you didn't hear it, I'll go ahead and rewind it.
That you're one Mark Zuckerberg? What the fuck, Zuckerberg?
Why didn't he finish that?
Okay, I'll let you...
Yes, I'm advocating that platforms can take down certain creators.
I can't wait till TYT is taken down for being against the war. You're saying that you're one Mark...
Yes, you heard that correctly. Jimmy Dore just said that he can't wait until TYT is taken down for being against the war. Now, I understand what he meant by that. Jimmy's a little, he can shoot from the hip because he's a very, although he is an extremely rational thinker, he's a very emotive person. And he is, as you can tell, an extremely objective commentator. Because what his point is Stephen O runs TYT. He's like the behind the scenes guy while Jang runs it from the front. And he's saying, like, that it's not going to stop at Alex Jones, right? You know this. And you're, oh yeah, I think that platform can do what they want to when they want to. But there are people who lie, TYT not excluded from this also, by the way, lied straight to our faces. They've lied about Seth Rich investigation, lied about Russiagate. They've lied about some things, even dealing with Donald Trump. Like I said, even though I generally don't agree with a lot of what Donald Trump says, that doesn't mean that everything that he does that everything that is being said about him is true. That would be false equivalency. That is a logical fallacy to assume that because Trump is a disingenuous or a abrasive person, that every single thing that he does is in favor of Russia. It's like that he is guilty of Russiagate because he is an asshole. Like it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But there have been organizations that have straight lied to us and have gotten away with it. It seems like the only organizations that do not get away with it are those who predominantly toe the establishment narrative. I want to go ahead and listen to a little bit more.
Zuckerberg,
why don't you let me finish that?
Okay, I'll let you.
Okay? It's like you constantly interrupting. Why don't you let me finish?
Okay, I'll let you.
Right? My point is, if you are taking anyone down for their political speech, that is totally wrong. And I'm against all of that. What I'm saying is that there are people who violate terms of service and do other things that's not protected speech, and they can be taken down. And here's what I mean by that. For example, if you start showing porn, that's not allowed. You can be taken down for that. If you're harassing individuals and making their lives miserable, they can take you down for that.
Who's they? Can I interrupt you?
Yes.
Who's they?
YouTube or Facebook.
So nameless, unaccountable person.
Yes, they can.
Okay,
So I want to be very clear about this. So Steve O just said that, okay, if you post porn, you can be taken down for that. Now, he's correct. And guess what? The thing about that statement is that every time that has happened, he has been 100% correct. They have taken it down 100% of the time when porn is posted. 100% of the time. Every single instance. Indiscriminately. You hear the difference? 100% of the time that particular community guideline is violated, they've taken it down. Now, can we say that? Can we say that for all of the times that the other establishment media, whether it be New York Times or Washington Post or CNN or MSNBC, can we, even Fox News, even Breitbart, Daily Beast, can we say honestly that they have been taken down every single time they've posted fake news? Every single time they've posted a lie, every single time that they've posted propaganda. Now, literally, not even 0.005% of outlets have been taken down by Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. When those community guidelines, not even 0.005% of them. But Steve O probably didn't know that as he is quoting this about Alex Jones, as he's attacking Alex Jones by trying to justify censorship. That's what he's doing. Or he's trying to justify the censorship by attacking Alex Jones instead of addressing the actual issue, which is censorship, because of what comes next, which he did not know because he is in his little TYT bubble. TYT tends to live in a bubble, like when Anna Kasparian and Jake asserted that there was no censorship, and yet Kyle Kulinski and Mike Figueredo, the Humanist Report, who are literally on their network, made videos in the same week detailing how they were personally being censored. Let's listen to a little bit more.
A intellectually lazy position.
No, it's
that
not.
I've debunked a million times
Why?
already.
So a platform cannot take down anyone for any reason without a hearing in a court of law?
You can throw someone in jail without a hearing. You mean you have to have a hearing every time you throw someone in jail? Every time you throw someone
I never said jail. Did I say jail? Did I say jail?
Okay, so
that's a false equivalent.
Did I say jail? Did I say jail? Did I say jail?
I'm not talking about free speech. I'm talking about the right to be on a platform. That is not free speech.
So you don't
that's not. So that is not.
So you disagree with the idea of free speech?
No, I'm not. See, that's a straw man bullshit argument. That's a bullshit argument.
Let's talk
So
about it.
why don't you let me finish then?
Okay, I'll let you finish.
You keep interrupting me without letting me finish. So you are saying that YouTube you can create a channel on YouTube under the guise of free speech and say whatever you want as long as you're not taking to court and YouTube can't do anything about that?
Yes.
No, that is not true.
Yes.
Live in the real world, Jimmy. Can I go outside and hang a naked poster on a city streets? No, I cannot. You know what that is? Censorship. There are laws.
So what he is trying to say that as private corporations, even though they establish charters and community guidelines that are considered to be quote unquote their rules, they are not entitled or obligated to any fiduciary duty regarding the patrons or the goers of their particular platforms. Steve, I know you're a lawyer, but bro, being in the middle of a lawsuit of a nonprofit, like nonprofits, the number one lawsuit filed against nonprofit are failing to abide by their fiduciary duties or their contracts or their charters with their community or whoever donates to them, whoever participates in that nonprofit officially. So when you're going to look at myself or Jimmy, which is probably why he's really frustrated, or anybody else, and say, as a for-profit corporation that forces you to sign an agreement, that if you engage in any type of exchange to be on the platform, or if you have a personal page or a page that is significantly profiting, your business is profiting from that Facebook page, Twitter page, definitely YouTube, to say that you have to, you're saying that's a unilateral contract, that we have to abide by the rules. However, they can do what they want to arbitrarily when they see fit. I'm sorry, but the internet is not a right to work state like Alabama. It is not a unilateral, those agreements are not unilateral contracts. And yes, if you are going to remove, especially a business page, because that's essentially what Alex Jones's page was, if you were going to remove a business page, you should have to go to court, or at the very, very, very bare minimum, give a detailed explanation as to why. Especially when you've let so many people in the past slide. Give an explanation as to why your situation as a journalist, as part of the press, was so uniquely worse. And then, because you don't only get to do that for now Alex Jones, but for Tell a Slur as well, which literally just report. They're like a point outside of Abby Martin. They're very much so a point, shoot, and detail what's going on in the video type of organization. They're a reporting organization. And they were taken down. This isn't even the first time that's happened. Do you know that this also happened? This also happens to any Israeli who is pro-Palestine. Their Facebooks get taken down if they live in Israel. Zuckerberg worked that out with Netanyahu. They give them directives. But according to Stephen O, it's fine. The process should not be transparent at all. He's more concerned about being right than he is about the bigger picture. And it will affect TYT. But chickens always come home to roost, especially when it comes to censorship. So I would love to know your thoughts about this. Leave your comments and what you think about the comments from both Jimmy Dore and from Steve O down in the comment section below. Make sure you join us on justinform.com. You can look at that, the comments below as well. Donate to our Patreon. Become a monthly subscriber to our Patreon to help us grow. Next week we will be on Roku. So if you have a Roku channel, definitely tune in to the show there. We're going to have some Roku exclusives. And also, like I said, we are starting to film the pilot for my new show, which is really cool. That will be on network. That is prepped to be on network television, discussing the activism that I participate in, the network, the MCSC network itself, the progressive movement, and the populist movement. And the DNC fraud lawsuit will be covered as well. This is going to be, I believe, about a year and a half long show, essentially to all the way through 2020. So that is super exciting, and I will definitely keep you all up to date about that as well. Really, really excited about that. It was cool. When they called me, I thought they made a mistake because they were like, hey, we're going to fly a producer out to give you an audition. And I was like, what? Like, out to Miami? As in, you're flying them here? For whose show? Well, if you get the part, it's your show. I said, I don't think y'all want me. I don't think. Not joking. I said, because if y'all think that I'm going to say something or do something or be somebody that I am absolutely not, if you think I'm going to toe some line outside of, the general censorship, like literal censorship, like not cussing and walking around naked and things like that. Like, if you think I'm going to censor what I say about the world and about what's going on in it, then you're mistaken, because that's not how I get down. And they said, good, because we don't want you to. Controversy sells. Well, if that's the case, you got the right guy. So definitely we'll keep you all updated with that. I can't release the name or anything like that until we get the final approval from the networks. But I'm excited. It's going to be a big moment for the movement. We get a chance to give the progressive movement, the progressive policies, progressive candidates much more exposure. Not only the ones who are running for office, but the ones like Tim Canova who are fighting for justice. The ones like Shauna McNally who are fighting for justice, fighting against election fraud, fighting for election integrity, bringing attention to the inconsistent ideology of the establishment, what they claim they believe in, and then exposing them for what they really are. I'm excited about that. I really, 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 really am. I can't wait. So, with that being said, people, remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace. And shout out to Jimmy, man. Keep staying true to you. It's definitely a breath of fresh air for the independent media to have stalwarts and pillars that we can always lean on to even challenge